Well, please welcome James Shaw, Republican candidate for Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
I want to start by seeing where you line up within the ranks of the Republican political landscape. So for starters, do you believe former President Trump's claim that there was widespread fraud, the election was stolen, and that he was the rightful winner?
Well, what got me in the election, what got me off the couch was that election. I was there election night watching the results, and I saw things be suspended, and it got my curiosity up.
Well, now, do you believe that the election was stolen?
Stolen? I'd like to give you this statement. As of right now, Joe Biden's our president, and that's what we have to deal with.
Where do you stand on Florida's adoption of red flag laws that allow government to temporarily take an individual's guns if he or she poses a threat to self or others through due process?
I don't like it at all.
Would you scrap it if
Yes.
given the chance? Why?
Yes.
Why?
It's a snitch program.
To those who say it saves lives by taking away guns from one like the Parkland killer, you would say what?
A gun could save lives. If the right person in that situation did have a gun, he could have saved a life. So you could look at it from both points of view. But to side with what you're saying, who likes a massacre? Nobody likes a massacre, but there's two sides to it.
You're touting the endorsement of Roger Stone in a statement. I won't repeat the entire statement on your site because it's crass, but part of it is that Stone claims your opponent, Wilton Simpson, is a rhino Republican in name only. If that's the case, then why is former President Trump and Governor DeSantis supporting him instead of you?
They haven't met me.
Have you tried to meet them?
I called their secretary. They're both busy men.
Where are they making a mistake and not meeting with you?
They haven't met me, but I have my platform. If you go to my videos, you can see where I stand. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any drugs. I'm not on any antidepressants. I've been married 40 years. I have 8 children. I have 22 grandchildren. I have a lot at stake.
What do you consider to be the greatest threat facing the state of Florida that you could address as Commissioner of Agriculture?
In the climate that we're in right now, my slogan is good food, good water, and good guns. And as far as I'm concerned, they're all on the same plane. Without a society can't exist without taking care of its food. We're all 9 meals away from anarchy.
What more specifically would you do as Commissioner of Agriculture to protect Florida's food supply?
We have to first off make sure the farmers are taken care of. That supply chain has to work. If that farmer's out in the field and one bearing comes off of his tire, he's out of business.
What do you do as Commissioner of Agriculture, if elected, therefore, to address that specific problem?
I hit it head on. I sit on that big oak table. I gather people. I gather a committee. I gather intelligent people from universities. We sit around and we hit the problem before it ever happens.
You've run a successful worm farm in Pennsylvania. Now in Florida, you state your net worth at $4.5 million, so you've been very successful with that. And yet your campaign only has around $50,000. Why not, since you have the means to do it, invest more in yourself if you think that you're the rightful choice to lead the state? Department of Agriculture.
I knew who I was going up against. A gentleman who has lobbyists behind him with $15 million.
All the more reason to put more money in the race.
Very strategic in what I did.
Where's the strategy in that?
What you do is you wait till late in the election.
Well, it's pretty late. We're in the closing days.
Yes.
What are you doing in the closing days? Are you pumping more money
I've
into the
already
race?
been to 40 gun shows. I've been to 40 Republican events. I have 14 billboards flying. I bought 423 impressions on the internet.
Now, wait a minute. For a state the size of Florida, that's not really that much, though.
Well, it's where they're at, and it's where you go. Gun shows have very zealous individuals with a lot of heart, a lot of Republicans. Good people.
In your campaign finance records, there are some audits. There's a fine at one point in which the state asserts you didn't properly submit your paperwork. To voters who say that raises flags about your ability to manage a much larger budget under state government, assure them that you wouldn't have any problems.
I discussed that with my individual, held them accountable. It's getting resolved.
We have a crisis in Florida in terms of citrus greening, in terms of giant invasive snails. What specifically would you do to address both of those crises?
Well, the snail thing's fairly new, but what you have to do is you have to be a good manager, and that's what I am by trade. You have to call in what you have, and we have a lot of assets here in Florida with our colleges. We have a lot of intelligent people. What would I do? There again, get around the big oak table, hand out yellow pads, sharp pencils, discuss the matters, set expectations, experimental sites, inspect what I expect.
So you're not there yet, but you would take it under advisement after calling together a panel of experts.
Absolutely.
James Shaw, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure being here.